As you know, there are millions of simulator games on Roblox, but only a few get attention. Can we talk about how games like Tapper Gods and Pet Simulator 2 now have less than 10 players online? It's wild because these games were popping off back in their prime. Like, where did everybody go? Honestly, some of these dead games are still pretty fun if you give them a chance. They've got unique mechanics, satisfying grinds, and that nostalgic vibe if you played them back in the day. So maybe it's time we bring some of these classics back to life. We all know Pet Simulator X is poppin', but today we're switching it up and checking out simulators that barely have 10 people playing right now. Like, take my old game Tapper Gods, for example. I'll admit, it was straight up trash. Let's be real. But then there was Tapping Gods, and that one? Absolute fire. That's the first game we're diving into. With over 29 million visits, Tapping Gods was an absolute vibe back in 2020. One of my all-time faves. When you first jumped into the game, it was all about clicking your screen like crazy to earn points. As those points piled up, you could buy upgrades, collect some amazing pets, and even unlock new worlds to explore. One of the best parts of the game was how it made you feel powerful as you advanced. Unlocking pets was especially exciting. The developers really put a lot of effort into making the designs stand out, with glowing effects, unique shapes, and animations. Plus, the rarity system kept players hooked, always aiming for that legendary or mythical pet that was just out of reach. And let's not forget about rebirths. Every time you hit a certain milestone, you could rebirth, resetting your progress but earning some huge rewards in return. It was such a great way to make grinding feel rewarding and fresh. So, if Tapping Gods was so much fun, why isn't it popular anymore? That's where things get interesting. First off, the game got a little repetitive after a while. The core gameplay of tapping, unlocking pets, and rebirthing was fun, but it didn't evolve enough to keep players engaged long-term. After you reached the top pets and max upgrades, there wasn't much else to do. The second reason was the lack of updates. To keep a Roblox game alive, developers need to keep adding new features, pets, or worlds. Tapping Gods did have updates, but they stopped after the Warp Dimension First World. Players were always looking for fresh content, and when it didn't come fast enough, they moved on. Another big factor was the rise of competition. Around the same time Tapping Gods was big, there were tons of new games hitting Roblox. Many of them offered similar gameplay, but with more creative twists, like new mechanics or fun mini-games to mix things up. Even though Tapping Gods isn't as popular now, it's still a fantastic game, especially for new players. If you've never tried it before, there's a lot to enjoy, from collecting powerful pets to climbing the leaderboards. It's a great introduction to the clicker simulator genre, and it's a game that's all about relaxing and having fun while watching your progress grow. We're taking a closer look at a game that had tons of potential but didn't live up to its legacy, Pet Simulator 2. If you remember the hype around Pet Simulator 2, you know how big the expectations were for it to take Roblox gaming to the next level. But for some reason, the game just didn't hit the same way the first one did. Let's talk about what made Pet Simulator 2 exciting, what went wrong, and why it's mostly forgotten today. To understand why Pet Simulator 2 was such a big deal, we need to go back to the first game, Pet Simulator. The original game was a massive hit. It introduced a super fun loop where you could collect coins, hatch eggs, and grow a team of pets to explore bigger and better areas. It was a Roblox classic, and set the standard for so many simulator games that followed. When Pet Simulator 2 was announced, the hype was real. Fans expected bigger maps, more features, cooler pets, and endless updates to keep the game fresh. And to be fair, Pet Simulator 2 did look amazing at first. The graphics were better, the pets were more detailed, and it introduced some new mechanics, like being able to ride your pets and unlocking new worlds through progress. It also included things like loot boxes and quests, which gave players more to do than just farming coins. But here's the thing. Despite all the excitement, Pet Simulator 2 didn't take off the way the first game did. So, one of the biggest issues was how much of the game was locked behind a paywall. While Pet Simulator 1 made players feel like they could grind to earn most things, Pet Simulator 2 leaned too heavily into premium mechanics. Features like trading were tied to spending Robux, but the good thing is, if you had a Game Pass from the first game, you would get it for free. Another major issue was the lack of frequent and meaningful updates. When the game launched, it had a lot of promise, but the updates didn't come fast enough to keep players engaged. Compared to how other games like Adopt Me or later simulators were constantly changing and evolving. In the first Pet Simulator, grinding was fun because it always felt like you were working towards something exciting. New pets, better areas, cooler upgrades. Some players reported feeling stuck or unmotivated after only a few hours of play. It's also worth mentioning that Pet Simulator 2 helped set the stage for improvements in later simulator games on Roblox. Some of the ideas it introduced, like quests and unique world designs, showed that there was potential to take simulators to the next level. So guys, what do you think? Did you play Pet Simulator 2 when it came out? Were you a fan, or did you find yourself missing the first game? Maybe you've moved on to something completely different in Roblox. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences. We're diving into a classic Roblox game that had everyone hooked for hours, Magnet Simulator. If you were around during its prime, you remember how exciting it was to run around collecting coins and upgrading your gear. But like a lot of older Roblox games, Magnet Simulator slowly faded away, and many people stopped playing. So, what made it so fun back then, and why doesn't it shine like it used to? Let's break it all down. Let's start with what made Magnet Simulator an instant hit. The concept was super simple, but absolutely genius. You equipped a magnet and ran around collecting coins from all over the map. Your magnet was like a magnetized vacuum, pulling coins toward you, which made it super satisfying to watch them fly across the screen. As you collected more coins, you could head over to the shop and buy upgrades, like stronger magnets that pulled coins from further away or better backpacks to carry more coins. And the fun didn't stop there. You could unlock new areas, which gave you access to rarer coins, cooler upgrades, and even pets that boosted your earnings. The main gameplay loop was simple. Collect coins, upgrade, unlock new zones, and repeat. While it was addictive at first, the simplicity started to feel repetitive after a while. Once players hit a certain level or unlocked most zones, there wasn't much else to do. Without deeper features or challenges, the grind just got old. Even though it's not as popular anymore, Magnet Simulator deserves credit for how fun and innovative it was for its time. It was one of the first games to combine a simple concept with that addictive grind mechanic we've seen in so many Roblox games since. The coin collecting, upgrading, and pet systems set a standard for simulator games. It was also a great game for new players. The controls were easy, The mechanics were simple to understand, and the progression felt super rewarding, at least in the early stages. For a lot of Roblox fans, Magnet Simulator holds a special place because it introduced them to the simulator genre.